It's my extreme pleasure and honor to welcome Javier Bardem to the stage.
Hello. Wow. Thank you. Wow. All right. Thank you very much. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure all you needed is to stretch the legs after 2 hours. That standing ovation is not for me, it's because you really need to stretch the legs, which I totally get. But I will get the standing ovation. That I put it in my pocket. Just for the fun of it. Hello, I was saying that this movie theater was the one where I screened the first movie that I ever did in English called Before Night Falls. It was here. And I remember that column because I was behind that column watching very closely from the back Sean Penn's reaction to the movie. For me, he's an amazing actor, and he spent the whole movie like this, like leaning forward, and I was thinking, is that a good thing, a bad thing? And then he liked the movie. He was in the movie, actually. I guess that's why.
Well, we miss Sean not being in the county anymore, but we welcome you back.
Thank you.
And you're sitting exactly where Denis Villeneuve was sitting here about a month ago.
Here you go.
So, as we know, Javier is in Dune.
Warm it up. You warm it up.
Well, I want to ask you, because I understood that this is a film that you've been, for lack of a better word, keeping your eye on for a number of years. Yeah. And I'm so thankful, and sure the audience is, that it worked out the way it did. But here you are, you're from Spain. I don't think, I may be wrong, I Love Lucy was maybe very popular there at that time. And what was it that resonated with you that you spent 5, 6, 7 years, wanting to do this project?
So Te Quiero Lucy, which is I Love Lucy in Spanish, I guess it was something that I will rerun there, but I wasn't familiar, and it's not at all as popular as it is here. But when I heard about this project like 7 years ago, before even the script was written, I wanted to, out of curiosity, see who this Desi Arnaz was. I don't know why. I was like, okay. And then I discovered this man, multitasks man, like singer, dancer, producer, actor, conga player, Cuban. I don't know, it was so many elements about the qualities of his and his struggle and his skills and the way he portrayed all of them with lots of humor and lots of love and passion that I was very drawn into. And then I was very curious to see how this project was taking place. And then I heard Aaron Sorkin was writing the script, and I was like, but then they did what they should have done, what they should do, which is go first to actors that had some Cuban blood, or had some Cuban family or relatives or Cuban origin, and they searched for those actors, and for whatever reason it didn't happen. And when he came back to me, I was like, I'm ready, and I'll try to do it as better as I can, as good as I can. Actually, Before Night Falls also was about a Cuban poet. So out of all the respect and admiration that I have for the character, I will work as hard as I can to honor the fact that I could be him.
Well, I want to just read something. I wrote something down that I saw a video of by Lucille Ball, her daughter, who I would imagine would be your hardest audience.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, first of all, she says, this was frickin' amazing. But she doesn't say it right away. She makes you wonder what she's thinking.
She's a great actress.
That guy made a great movie, captured the essence. But he says, a lot about you, that you could see the love between them, meaning Lucy and yourself, and you found this, and this is the part that I want to say, you could really tell that Javier loved Desi.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And I wonder about that, because I heard once, we had Albert Maisel here, and he, of course, Maisels is a documentarian, one of the greats, and he was talking about, I presume documentaries, of course, and he said, whoever the character is, and we know in documentaries that they're not always as likable as Desi, you have to love that character.
Yeah.
Did you love Desi? Is that what happened?
Yeah,
on your journey?
I love Desi, and it's hard not to love Desi. And I guess when Aaron Sorkin called both Nicole and I, the first thing he said is like, I don't want you guys to imitate Lucy and Ricky, because those are not the characters that you're gonna play. You're gonna play Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, which are kind of different from who they were on the show. Especially, I guess, Lucy will have these two kind of different voices. When Desi was more one kind of a guy, like he will be the guy. And then maybe when he's doing the show, he will stress a little bit more the accent to make fun of it. And he will speak faster and a little bit louder. But basically, Desi Arnaz was 100% himself all the time. And I know that because I had access through Lucy, the daughter, to the audio tapes, some audio tapes of himself, of Desi speaking privately to his children and to some executives. And you could tell that he speaks like in the show almost. Fast, very funny, very like, with a lot of decision, like there's a lot of imperative energy in it. But very, very, very funny. Like that, he didn't get stuck in his own drama or in the drama of things. He really overcome them with humor and with action. He's a man of action, and that's what I wanted to portray. His energy, which is an energy of a man who's always into something. He's not a thinker. He's very smart, but he is somebody that he's putting the body into everything he does. He's a singer, he's a dancer, he's a comedian, so he's always like on the move.
Yeah, and he's a complex character and a talented character. So does this mean, well, one, you had to learn a Cuban accent, play the congas, sing?
Yeah.
Should I go on? You know?
Well, speak English. No, Aaron asked me, do you play the guitar? I said, oh, of course I play the guitar. I mean, I was born with the guitar. Okay. Do you play the congas? Congas? Jesus, you should see my office. It's full of congas. Do you sing? Me? Do you want me to sing you something? No, it's okay. I lied so much. And the good thing is that he knew I was lying, but he's so nice. He said, okay, I'll buy it. And then once I got the offer, I was like, shit, okay, hold on. No, I have to do this. How do I do this? And then I start to learn. And I was shooting The Little Mermaid. I'm playing the King Triton there. Yeah, one day I was having dinner with my wife and kids, and my daughter she's now 9, she's now 8, she was 7 or 6.5. And I said, well, they are asking me about The Little Mermaid. And her face was, and I said, Luna is her name. I'm not playing Ariel. She said, you're playing King Triton, right? And I say, yes. And her face is like, okay, I got the phone, and I call my agent who's here, who happens to be the best agent in the world and the best, one of my best friends. And I said, I'm in. So I was doing Little Mermaid, and Rob Marshall, which I adore and I love him, gave me the first chance to sing. But when they called me, they told me there were 4 songs in the movie and a month to prepare. I said, okay, I'll do it, of course, man. But it was a hard work.
So I understand you come from a long line of filmmakers and
Yes.
actors, and they taught you these things.
Yes. Yes, my grandparents were actors. The grandparents were actors. My uncle was a director. My mom was an actress. She passed away 5 months ago, and I miss her. Like, oh my God, but she's in every cell of my body. I mean, we were very close, very close. But she's now even deeper within myself than how she was when we were together, and we were very together. It's amazing, no? My brother and sister are actors. What can I say? I mean, I was born into it, and I didn't want to be an actor. That's because I saw it. I saw that it's crazy. It's crazy to make a living out of this. And I saw many of the downs and not so many of the ups. But finally, I was a very bad student because I guess I couldn't stay still. I had to express myself. I studied painting. I was dancing. I was like moving, like Desi in a way. I couldn't stay still. And one day I started to say one line in a movie as an extra. Then little by little I got 2 lines, 3 lines. And one day I said, Mom, I want to be an actor. And she said, really? Okay. I would only say that if you want to really become an actor, you have to be very respectful with the craft and with everyone involved in the craft because it's sacred. That craft has fed us for generations. And I go, okay, Mom, I'll do that. And I try to do that every day. Every day I work, I appreciate, I worship the work, and I worship everyone involved in this amazing craft and try to earn it.
And you certainly can tell not only by your craft, but by your choices of films that you make too. And whether it is Dune or James Bond and playing opposite Daniel Craig or The Sea Inside, it's there. We know. We see it and we appreciate it.
You so name good ones. There's a bunch of very bad ones as well. But thank you very much for avoiding those ones. You don't need to see those though. But thank you. Yeah, those that you mentioned are pretty good. I mean, it's
and also who was sitting here many times is Alejandro Inarritu.
Inarritu, yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I did a movie
great
with
films,
him.
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Another nomination for that.
Yeah, that was an intense film. I mean, he doesn't like it easy, but he's an amazing director. He's an amazing. What can I say? What's an experience of a lifetime? It was the first movie that he did where the whole weight, the dramatic weight, goes on the shoulders of one character. Because up until that moment, he was doing movies with 3 stories intercut. That was the first one where he did the story of one character. That character was me.
You. And then
and I guess we both say, let's go. Yeah, like, why not? Jesus. To hold that for 7 months. It was a shoot of 7 months.
Oh, yeah, that's intense.
I remember the first day we were doing a scene where the doctor tells me I'm going to die of cancer. That was the first day. And he did, I think he was like 12 takes. Another 12 from here, 15 further. So I died like 45 times. I said, man, this is the first day. He said, yeah, I told you it was going to be.
And it's going to get worse.
Intense. Said, all right. Well, it's an amazing movie.
Well, then let's lighten it up and talk about this amazing love story.
Yes.
Between Lucy and Desi. And I mean, from the moment they meet on the soundstage, but I have to say the scene when they're in the house and you're playing the guitar and she comes in your tuxedo and you said something like, you're wearing pants, and she said, not for long. Brilliant. It was brilliant. But it is an amazing love story.
Yeah, and that's what Lucy, the daughter, and everything that I've read, especially his book called A Book, which I love, and I highly recommend everyone to read Desi's autobiography, because it's more than an autobiography. It's a landscape of Cuba and Hollywood at the time, 40s, 50s, 60s, and how he had to fight and struggle to make his place, to make room for himself in this industry, among many other things. You could tell that he was deeply in love with Lucille for the rest of his life. And I think that's the hard part of this movie, the heartbreak, is that everything that is being told in the story, that everything you've seen and heard, it happened. Those Aaron put it together in 1 week.
Right.
When some of those things happen in years, in 3-4 years, he put it in 1 week to make the pressure up on the characters. But everything, even the phone call, there's an audio of the phone call of Desi talking to Hoover.
He was Edgar Hoover.
Yeah. Everything happened, and what also happened is that in the day of his death, Desi on his deathbed, one of the last phone calls he was to Lucy to tell her how much he loved her. Yeah. So everything in the story goes to that very moment in the scene with the handkerchief, where everything is decided there. And of course, no matter how deeply in love they were with each other, they couldn't make it. And they both know that. And that's, I guess, that's what makes this scene so heartbreaking. Because you know they love each other. And they're going to love each other until they die and beyond. But they can't make it. They cannot make it anymore.
I have a question for you about this, and I've been thinking about this question, and it may be a very stupid question because I think it's a combination of things, but we know why, Lucy what wanted. She was very clear what she wanted. And then the scene where J.K. Simmons goes to the bar, and it's explained in a number of ways, physically, verbally, about the culture. And there's a quote that I excuse me?
Where the man is the man.
Yeah, a man is a man, and he has to be there, be one. But there's also the second banana aspect. Yeah. And I just been having a hard time, I just like, and again, it may be just a stupid question of like, what was the most important element to her about it? Or is it's just all one thing?
I never played Desi as a person who would ever feel a second banana of anything.
Right.
Because he wasn't. He didn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. Again, that comes from very trusty sources, like the daughter. He knew that he was a great comedian, great musician, but a great producer. He will take the reins. He will make decisions, hard decisions in a bit. Like he won't waste anybody's time. But when he comes to creatives, he will step back, and he will leave Lucy take the reins, because he trusted so much in her skill that he's like, you do that, and I do the opposite. And when they separate, Lucy had to take the reins into the production aspect of it all, and apparently it was very hard for her to learn how to do that, which is not easy, because Desi was not there for her anymore. And so he understood exactly what was his place in this relationship, professionally and personally. The thing is that he was born in Cuba, and he was educated in a moment in history, in a way of thinking about men and manhood that is wrong. But that was the way he was taught. If I'm not wrong, I think he lost virginity when he was very young with some prostitutes. So I think, I wouldn't say that, I think I'm right. I think it's right what I'm saying, but that marks a man, no? It's like, that tells a lot about, and he was very well celebrated, I mean. Mm-hmm. That tells you what kind of education he received, and you live with that. I mean, it's not something to justify or excuse him. I'm saying that that's where he was coming from, and that's why when the handkerchief scene happened, he knows that it's wrong, it's bad, but for him, it really doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you got that sense.
But that's the thing, is like, well, it does to me, and that's why he's so heartfelt and so sad, because he's like, I know it's wrong, but if you could understand that for me it doesn't mean anything. But again, we can discuss this for hours. We're talking about ethical behavior, but that's the way he felt, I'm sure.
Well, one thing we know, he was not only a talented actor, musician, businessman, but he was an innovator and well ahead of his time. And they pointed out some of the things about it, but he really kind of changed the business in a way TV was produced and maybe even affected film in some way as an independent producer and that kind of control over content.
Yeah, he invented the 3-camera thing on the studio where people can go, the audience can go and see the show without being interrupted and at the same time be recorded. He invented that, and that's still what we do on the TV shows. So he was the first one to bring that idea, like 3 cameras recording live, so the other side of the country can see it simultaneously.
It seems so simple, but nobody thought about it.
Yeah.
What's interesting is very early on in the Mill Valley Film Festival, which is part of this whole organization, one of our bigger films was called Escape Artist with Desi Arnaz.
Yes.
And
I
directed
saw
by
it so many times.
Yeah, directed by Caleb Deschanel. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to see it before we were talking.
What's the name of the actor, amazing actor from Cuba? Raul Julia.
Raul Julia.
Thank you.
And Caleb used to live here, a great cinematographer. And unfortunately, Desi wasn't able to come. But the production company for this is called Escape Artists.
Oh, wow. All right.
I don't know. I was going to ask you if there was any connection there at all.
No, but I saw that movie because that was his last performance. And it's amazing. You could still hear the cadence of the speaking, his high-pitched tone, the speed, the energy that he had even being older, that he had like very similar to what he had on how he was when he was doing the I Love Lucy. So that's what I meant. Like he really was one piece of a man. He was that guy, and he was very proud of being that person. So he didn't want to change anything. On the other hand, he will stress the fact that he is that guy to make fun out of it.
What other, besides your performance, Nicole's performance, a great script and direction by Aaron Sorkin, who was here with Molly's Game. We had fortunate enough to premiere that. It's really a great ensemble piece. Yeah. Every actor is like spot on.
Absolutely, but for that you need a good script. I mean, you need good actors, but you need a good story and good dialogues and good. And everybody's asking about how is Aaron with the words? Is he so? Yes, he's careful. I mean, he's a great writer, and of course he wants to make sure that we say and listen the words. But what he was more into is the pauses, the silences. He really. It's like when you are. There's a scene of me walking on the aisle when they're telling me that no, we cannot do the show with the pregnancy, and it ends up with the "Don't fuck with the Cuban," which also happened. I mean, it's the dancing. I made it up, but the "Don't fuck with the Cuban" it happened. And we were rehearsing, and the first moment in the rehearsal, the other actors and me, we were walking so fast and speaking so fast. It's like, why are we doing this? It's like we were just coming into a set thinking, Aaron Sorkin, walk and talk. And you better do it fast. And he knows that. He's like, why are you going so fast? Who told you to go that fast? So he really wants us to take a break, breathe, listen, take in what we've been told, make sure that what we say lands in the other character. He was more interested in that than us saying the words, which I think is a genius thing because he trusts in the words. Now he wants to make sure that the words mean something.
Yeah, that's so interesting because like when you look at his TV shows, the West Wing and the News, what's it called? Thank you. It's known for this kind of machine gun kind of dialogue, you know.
But I said to him, I don't speak English, so I've read the script and I think I understood. No, but I was the only one. I was the envy of the whole cast because I could change some lines. Because I am a foreigner playing a foreigner. And I said, I don't know if Desi would say that. Okay.
Well, you
And everybody was turning their head, really? So, yeah.
well you were
That's the
president
trick.
of Desi Lou, so
But let me tell you, you don't need to change anything in an Aaron Sorkin script. There is nothing that you miss or nothing that is something that you want to take out. It's perfect. It's right there. Sometimes I will just include a Spanish word. Or like when she slaps me in the face at the very beginning, I go, coño, which means like fucking Cuban. Like, ño, boom, ow. And he was like, what is that? I said, coño. Coño means fuck. So, okay. He wasn't sure, but I think it's fun.
So I thought we'd try something we haven't done for a very long time, which is take questions from the audience. We haven't been doing that. There's a gentleman right here. You're going to need to maybe stand up and speak loud with your mask on.
My name's Matt, and I've done a Dune podcast for the last 2 years called DunePod, and we have been studying all of the movies from the cast and the crew. We interviewed Denny at the film festival. So we did No Country and Skyfall. And from those, you wouldn't get the sense of comedy that you brought to this role tonight and that you brought to Dune. So I'm kind of curious how, like, those moments of still art were amazing. So I'm just curious how you brought comedy there and what you're most looking forward to not going back into that.
I'm a funny man. I mean, look at this. But I have a broken nose and a face that is not the most gentle face you can face in the world. So that's why they call me to play good, bad people. But I'm such a nice boy. My mom would tell you. And so when I got this role, it's like, yeah, finally. Finally I can be smiling. No, I mean, but again, the comedy is something that happens. I'm not a standing comedian. I'm not a genius like Chris Rock that can be here standing for 3 hours and we can spend 3 hours laughing because he's a genius. I don't have that at all. If I pretend to make anybody laugh, I need good dialogues and good situations. And that's what happened here. That's what happened in this movie. Like, the laughter comes because there is a conflict going that it's not solved or not resolved in the way he wanted or he was expecting or somebody else was expecting. And that makes the thing funny. No? And I loved working with Denis. It was a very short period for me, but it was amazing to see Denis Villeneuve like I was going to say 16-year-old, no, like a 10-year-old with a camera, because he drew the storyboards when he was like 14. So for him to be shooting Dune, it's like a dream of his life. And he was always thanking everyone. Thank you. I love it. It was great. Like, so he's an amazing director, but most of all, he's a great person to be around. His energy is amazing. So I can't wait to go back. Yeah.
Yeah, the sequel's approved.
Yeah.
And we're going to see a lot more of you, we hope.
Yeah, and the first thing that I got when the news were released is a text from Josh Brolin saying, "See you in the desert, motherfucker." I go, that's my boy. That's why I kill him.
All right, way in the back, the gentleman. Yeah.
About working with Nicole Kidman as Lucy.
Everybody hear that? All right.
We had a Zoom, this is the whole pandemic situation. It was January, the first Zoom meeting we have. Aaron, Nicole, and I. She was in Australia, he was in Los Angeles, I was in Madrid. Nicole and I, we were so scared because it's Lucille and Desi Arnaz. So Aaron said, I don't want you to mimic them. I want you to read and do what is on the script. And of course, I know you guys, I know actors. You're gonna see every episode. You're gonna listen every audio. You're gonna try to do them. That's fine. That's not where I'm interested. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Of course, we didn't do that. We saw every episode. And we talked once, but we were so scared and so insecure that we decided not to talk anymore. So, okay, you do your homework, I do mine, and we'll meet in a month's time. We met on a Thursday. We did the table reading on a parking lot, because it was the pandemic, with Max on, outside, windy, all the cast and Aaron, and we were separated, like you are Nicole, I am. Everybody was so separated, so I don't know. The intimate scenes was like, I love you, Lucy, I'm home. I mean, it was, and Aaron Sorkin didn't even dare to look at us, like. And I thought this is a disaster. I'm gonna be fired. Then I wasn't fired, unfortunately. It's like, shit, I have to do it. I haven't been fired. That was a Thursday. On Monday, we were shooting. Oh, exactly. Oh, it's like, how do we do this, Nicole? I mean, how is Lucy and Desi? And I guess she was funny. She was funny because she said, I never met Javier, and it's true. We didn't have time to sit down and talk and chat and express and exchange point of view. No, we just went full Lucy and Desi. And we were working nonstop. I don't like to do 1 take, 2 takes, 3 takes because you're a foreigner and maybe you've lost a word here or a word there. That's it. And you go fast. And he wants to shoot the whole scene together. 7 pages, all in 1 take. So there's no time to sit down and think or chat. So we rely on the material, we rely a lot on our homework, and we rely on each other. And it happened. I think she's fantastic. And I think we help each other to really be there, to get there. And Aaron was very good in allowing us to really bring whatever we wanted to bring, even though he told us in that Zoom, don't bring it. We brought it, and he was happy that we brought it.
Thank you. We're glad you brought it, too. All right, over on this side. Let's...
There's a gentleman there.
Okay. Gentleman here. I was looking for a woman. I want to be fair here, you know. That is...
I did, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry? If I sang that songs?
Have you
No,
sent
I
her-
never sung. No. I've never sung. I did in the movie. I was singing in The Little Mermaid. Once, no, don't laugh. Why are you laughing? They don't believe, as you do, sir, that I sing well. I just said I was singing in The Little Mermaid and they were laughing. Anyway, I was singing in The Little Mermaid with Halle Berry, which is Hellbar. How do I say her name? Thank you. I mean, it's hard for me not to say Halle Berry. I mean, which when you hear her singing, you don't want to sing. She's beyond of this world. It's like her voice. And then when they told me to sing Cuban Pete, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. But I said yes. That's why I was saying, like, I said yes back in the day. So it's like, so I work very much with a voice coach, and I was very insecure on. But there was a moment where pop, the voice came out, and I felt like, wow, this feels good. It's a new sensation. And actually, the day that I was recording the songs in the studio, I wanted more and more and more. No, we got it. No, we don't have it. We don't have it. And I loved it. And Aaron couldn't care less. Aaron Sorkin couldn't care less about me singing. Like, yeah, we got it. No, shoot it again. I mean, so people understand that it's me. So, but he put the song on the credits, Cuban Pete. So at least somebody can hear that.
Okay, other questions? Yes, right over here.
Have a statement. The movie was fantastic, and I love the comedic side of it. But I also have to say, with the recent Daniel Craig movie, my family and I went back and watched all the James Bond movies, and really took a shining to Skyfall in your character. And my husband from time to time will say to me,
Your husband is from time to time?
Part-time husband.
Coach would say, and I don't know if you remember the scene when you're chasing Daniel Craig in the Highlands, and my husband David will say, James, all this running around and
All this jumping is exhausting. Yeah. James, all this jumping and fighting is exhausting. Thank you. Listen, I was in front of Daniel Craig with no shirt. I've been there, and I was touching him. My mom was worshiping these fingertips. We opened the movie Skyfall in Madrid, and this, I swear to my life, that is true. We were in a theater like this, Daniel, blah, blah, blah. We opened the movie, my mom was there on the aisle. He goes down to go through the exit, and there's this woman jumping on his neck, biting his neck, like, and Mama! And Daniel, who's a gentleman and knew he was my mother, said, oh, it's okay. And I went, Mom! And she was like, what? I got it. I mean, she was madly in love with Daniel, which is not very difficult to be because I love him. He's a fantastic actor and amazing colleague, and super hot, of course.
All right, let's see this woman right here. What's next?
Go home. Be with the family. But answering your question, sir, I just finished a musical comedy for kids called Lyle Lyle Crocodile. So my career has begun. I didn't know I had that on me. I'm touring. I'm starting in January in San Francisco. No, that's a joke. There was a silence. No, it's funny. It's like I've never sung, but in this year, I've done three musicals back to back, which I don't understand why. The Crocodile thing is a family comedy musical, and it's gonna be fun. And again, when I said to my kids, no, I don't want to go to sing and dance with a crocodile, and they were looking at me, of course you're doing that, Dad. Really? Yeah, okay. And I took a plane, I went to Atlanta, and I finished the movie. So it's time to rest.
And then we'll be able to see The Good Boss soon, right? Representing Spain for Academy consideration.
Yeah.
But
The Good Boss is the Spanish entry for the Oscars, and we broke the record of 20 nominations for the Goya Awards.
Wow.
Which is 19 for me and 1 for the director. No, it's a great black comedy. In Spain, is working very well, and I've seen screenings here in the States and in Switzerland, in France, in England, and the movie lands perfectly well, no matter where it is.
Cool.
So I encourage you to see it. It's called The Good Boss, El Buen Patrón.
But before we see The Good Boss and The Little Mermaid and all your series of children's films, Being the Ricardos is opening this Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, so please.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, please tell your friends.
Thank you for
Yeah,
this beautiful
thank you
conversation.
so much for being here. It's such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. What a great audience. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.